What's up, guys? Boy Benny. Careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. CNN has been wanting to put Donald Trump in prison for a long time, and now they got their guilty verdict. Donald Trump may well go to jail, preparing you for that. And also, the exact same day, CNN has to report that Trump is set to win black voters. I wonder, ladies and gentlemen, if you take a population of people, which I guess is the whole of America, say that there's a rigged judicial system against them, and then prove it by putting the billionaire in jail for nothing. I mean, zero, nada, nothing. Bookkeeping records? Yeah, maybe you start to prove to people that the system is, in fact, rigged. CNN goes apoplectic over Joe Biden's massive drop in support among black voters. These numbers, to be honest, this is an exact quote from CNN, could be deadly to Biden's campaign. It's a huge alarm. It's spiraling. It's an ambulance, the police sirens. It's any alarm that you can think of that should be going off on the Democrat side. That's an exact quote from CNN. So, ladies and gentlemen, CNN, having a bad week to report the news, now must grapple with the fact that they're going to have to defend the putting of Donald Trump in jail. They're going to have to defend this guilty verdict, and it's not going great. J.D. Vance, who is top of Donald Trump's vice president list, went on CNN and talked to Wolf Blitzer and did one hell of a good job defending the president. It was amazing. It caused Donald Trump Jr. to say, holy shit, J.D. Vance just absolutely destroyed Wolf Blitzer and CNN. Let's go.
Yes, now, Republican Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, his name has come up as a potential Trump running mate. Senator Vance, thanks so much for joining us. Are you interested in being the running mate of a convicted felon?
Well, Wolf, the entire purpose of this trial was to allow the media and the Democrats to say exactly that. This is never about justice. This is about plastering convicted felon all over the airwaves, when in reality, the only thing that Donald Trump is guilty of is being in the courtroom of a political sham trial.
This jury was approved by the Trump lawyers. You acknowledge that, right?
Look, Wolf.
The Trump lawyers approved the 12 men and women, the 6 alternates in the jury.
My complaint is not with the jury, Wolf. My complaint is with the judge, with the jury instructions that were clearly reversible, with the fact that the judge had donated to the Biden campaign, which should force a recusal under the New York rules for the judge. The fact that his daughter has gotten wealthy off of this.
$15 in 2020 to the campaign.
To stop Donald Trump.
$15.
Wolf, to explicitly stop Donald Trump. Please let me answer the question. This judge committed multiple elements of reversible error, and he did it while his daughter has made a ton of money off of Democratic candidates and while he himself donated to the Biden campaign.
So let me repeat the question.
You cannot say that this trial was anything more than politics masquerading as justice. And yes, I will help Donald Trump. I will help Donald Trump. However, I think that I can, Wolf, because if we allow this to happen, it's so much bigger and so much more troubling than Donald Trump. If we allow the standard that you can throw your political opponents in jail because they're doing better than you in an election, it will be the end of this country as we know it.
Boom. Okay. Amazing job. Let me just real quick notes here to J.D. Vance. Amazing work. Don't let Wolf Blitzer interrupt you. Too many cucked Republicans sit here and are like, oh, you've interrupted. Like, they let these MSNBC and CNN anchors interrupt them. And that's their way of framing the argument. You're the senator. You're the person getting interviewed. It's your job to talk. The host, the anchor, who the hell cares who they are? It's your job to shut up. Listen to the senator, right? Nobody elected Wolf Blitzer to anything, and J.D. Vance didn't have any of it, and so good for him. It looks like they're doing media training. Thank God. Also making a really strong stance there right out of the gate for, yeah, I'm going to do anything to help Donald Trump because, well, he's my felon, baby. Founding felon.
So you don't think this was a fair trial at all?
No, Wolf, I do not think it was a fair trial at all. And more importantly, again, everybody's focusing on Donald Trump. Understandably,
well, he's convicted now.
Understandably, but the principle that we're establishing applies across our politics. We're basically saying that if you don't like the outcome of an election or you don't like how an election is about to transpire, you can try to throw your opponent in jail. Wolf, the entire predicate here is a paperwork
organized
violation.
by Biden. This was a trial organized by New York City, the district attorney in Manhattan.
After the number 3 person in the Biden Department of Justice joined that prosecutor's office and then goes after Biden's political opponent, this absolutely is connected to Joe Biden, Wolf. Beyond that, you had Robert De Niro showing up at a Biden campaign rally on the day of jury instructions. This is politics written
Do you
all
agree,
over it.
Trump, with what he just said? Because this jumped out at me. I thought it was obnoxious when he said, we're living in a fascist state. Is the United States a fascist state?
Yes.
Wolf, I served in Iraq in the United States Marine Corps. I have multiple family members.
Were you
who served
outraged
our
when he
country.
said that, when Trump said that?
I am outraged at this entire proceeding,
But are you
Wolf, not
outraged
at
that
Donald Trump's criticism of it.
Trump is calling the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, a fascist state. Are you okay with that?
After the President
Yes.
of the United States
Are you
uses
okay
the
with
power
that?
of the courts and his power
you
as
agree with
president
him that we live
to
in a fascist
throw
state?
his opponents in jail, I think this is disgraceful. I don't care what you
That
call
Trump
it,
is
Wolf.
disgraceful? Is that what you're saying?
I think this proceeding, this legal proceeding, is disgraceful.
But
Wolf,
what about
and I
Trump
don't
calling
care.
our country a fascist
They're
state?
trying to throw him in prison for a
He's
paperwork
convicted
violation, Wolf.
by his peers.
After
other
the
New Yorkers.
judge gave those jury biased instructions, after that judge donated to Donald Trump's political opponent, of course he's going to be frustrated, and he has every right to be. I don't care what you call this, but this is not the America that I know and love. Why aren't we talking about inflation, Wolf? Why aren't we talking about Biden's wide open southern border?
talking about
this
history
entire
now.
trial was
Yes.
cooked up to distract from
Senator,
Joe Biden's failure.
Exactly right. Okay, real fast here. That's exactly right. Hitting the nail on the head. One, Matthew Colangelo is the number 3 at the DOJ who left his pensioned job to go run this operation in Alvin Bragg's office. Direct interference by Joe Biden and direct connection to Joe Biden to this trial. Period. The end. 2, why aren't we talking about Joe Biden's failures? Oh, yeah, because this is an entire distraction
With
mechanism.
respect, we're talking about this because this is the first president or former president in American history to be convicted of felonies.
So let's talk about precedents. He's convicted of a literal paperwork violation.
He's
That is the
convicted
predicate.
34 felonies.
That is all of them paperwork violations. Rule a single paperwork violation,
the crime.
and they drew 34 felonies out. That should really bother you, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Now let's talk about precedents. 6 years ago, Hillary Clinton paid $113,000 that was misclassified as a legal expense. That's the exact same thing that Donald Trump is accused of. Hillary Clinton got a slap on the wrist and a fine from the FEC. Donald Trump has had 34 felony indictments. It's so obvious that this is about politics, Wolf. And I understand the questions here, but if we allow this to continue, we are going to wake up in a banana republic where we try to throw people in jail instead of winning an argument in our politics.
Let me read
That's
to
not
you.
what I want. I don't think it's what you want either.
Let me read to you what former Maryland governor and currently Republican Senate candidate Larry Hogan
Okay, so nobody needs to hear what Larry Hogan has to say.
that he's done all of the accusations that have been leveled against him.
Wolf, I am absolutely supporting Trump because I think he will make the American people's lives better. But again, this is so much bigger to me than Donald Trump. I woke up heartbroken for our country because the precedent set is that if you don't like somebody's politics, you should use the American system of law and order to try and destroy them. That's 250 years of
Senator.
legal tradition. The Biden folks are tearing it up to win an election, Wolf. That is what really bothers me.
Whatever
here.
happened to the Republican Party being the party of law and order?
We are the party of law and order, but you can't have law and order
This
if you
former
have
president
judges.
has been convicted 34 times.
Law and
of
order-
violating law.
Law and order is not having a judge who donates to the political opposition to Donald Trump and then tries to throw Donald Trump in jail. That's the opposite of law and order.
$15 donation.
A $15 donation combined with, he said that he wanted to fight Donald Trump. His daughter has made almost $100 million fundraising for Democrats, Wolf. Every single thing about this points to the fact that this was a political sham prosecution. Now, it's not just the judge's financial interests, his commitment to Democrats, multiple reversible errors. Why didn't they change the venue? Why didn't the judge give accurate jury instructions? Why didn't they charge him with something more than a paperwork violation? The entire argument of this case is that Donald Trump should go to prison because an employee of his filled out paperwork the wrong way. Wolf, this is disgraceful.
Do you believe that his employees, with his knowledge, were trying to cover up an affair with Stormy Daniels in order, this is just a few weeks before the election?
I believe that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, but if you take Alvin Bragg's argument, if you take every single thing in that indictment at face value, what it suggests is Donald Trump committed a paperwork violation. Is that 34 felony counts? Not in the country that I want to live in, not in the United States of America that I know and love.
You don't want to live in the United States?
I don't want to live in a New York sham prosecution. I would not live in New York State right now. Absolutely, I wouldn't Wolf, because what New York has showed and what, frankly, the Biden administration has showed is that if you don't do exactly what they want you to do in politics, they will try to use our system, bipartisan system of law and order, to throw you in prison. It's so disgraceful, and I think every American, whatever their party, should be worried about this.
How worried are you that there could be violence emerging from all of this by Trump supporters?
Oh, not at all. Donald Trump's supporters are not violent people. You live in a country of 330 million people. Of course, some people are going to do some bad things. But if we want to get back at the New York sham prosecution, my message to every Trump supporter is go to donaldjtrump.com, volunteer, support him, and vote in November. The only language that these people speak is power. We've got to win the presidency, Wolf, and save this country.
Weren't Trump supporters involved in the January 6th violence at the U.S. Capitol?
Wolf, a few people were violent, certainly, but I don't think the majority of Donald Trump's supporters are violent because you had a few people get violent on January 6th.
So your message to Trump supporters in the aftermath of these convictions is what?
Not strong.
My message is don't get angry.
Not strong. Okay, here we go. Media training. This is called rejection of the premise. And you must do that when they say, oh, it's Trump supporters that are violent. You have to reject that premise, and then you need rebuttal. Rebuttal should be, wait a second, wasn't it just a bunch of left-wing orc mobs that just assaulted a bunch of cops and took over like pretty much every single campus in America? Isn't that the left? Hey, Wolf, which side was BLM and Antifa when they stormed the White House in May 2020 and Donald Trump had to be taken down to a secure, locked room because they were going to kill the president? They wounded or injured 400 different cops. You got to be, come on, JD. Come on, buddy. You got to be fat. You got to push it back in his face. Ask Wolf the question. Learn the new rules of engagement. Come on,
Don't
dude.
get depressed. Get even. Get involved, and let's win this election, because that's the only way to actually fix this country and to save it for the American people.
And you want to be his running mate?
Wolf, I want to help Donald Trump however I can. He's got a lot of people he can choose from, and he's going to make that decision. But I want to be helpful because I want to save this country. This precedent is going to destroy the country that I love if we let it stand. And really, our only way to push back against it is to vote for Trump in November.
But you don't believe we live in a fascist state, do you?
Wolf, I think that what happened in New York is disgraceful.
Question.
Wolf, I think that what happened in New York, if you applied it across all 50 states, would be the definition of fascism. Throwing your political opponents in jail. Thank God it only happened in New York and not in the rest of the country.
Senator, nice of you to come in. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Good.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll continue
fantastic.
this conversation
strong,
down the road. Stay with
strong
us.
Answer. Okay, fantastic. So the good, strong answer is yes, this is the definition of fascism. Yes, fascism is the fusion of the state and the party and private commerce to oppress the people, us, in the American Republic. And it's good to see somebody actually like taking a strong stance against this. I think that J.D. Vance did an 8 out of 10 there. And that's good because most Republicans are doing about a 1 or 2 out of 10. So I can see why Donald Trump wants that man for vice president, or at least he's in the running. Although I think there's a lot of other stronger candidates. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, an honorable showing from the great J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio. Stand up, be proud. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe to stay America First on this channel. See ya.